Welcome to the ArmaniTalks podcast. I'm your host, ArmaniTalks. In this podcast, I'm helping you level up your 5 soft skills: public speaking, storytelling, social dynamics, emotional intelligence, and creativity. 5 soft skills for you to change your life forever, skyrocket your confidence along the way. In today's episode, we're going to be assessing whether or not the 10,000 hour rule is accurate. If you've never heard of the 10,000 hour rule, this is when Malcom Gladwell, the author of Outliers, noted that it takes 10,000 hours of deliberate practice in order to reach mastery. And ever since this rule came out, it became polarized. There was one group of people who were great in their craft who said, yeah, it sounds about accurate. It took me roughly 10,000 hours to become great at what I do. But also, there was another group of people that came and said, this is pseudoscience. This isn't backed by facts. And when I hear these two polarized views, I could see a case being made for both parties. For these great folks, I can see where they're coming from. For years, they were practicing in the dark. And then one day, they see this rule that's in a book that codifies their experiences. And you know what it's like. Whenever anyone puts words to ambiguous experiences that we have had in our lives, we feel good. And a lot of these great people feel good when they hear this rule. But on the flip side, I also understand the perspective of the people that are the detractors of the 10,000 hour rule. Because when you think about it, 10,000 hours creates this finite concept in your mind. It's like once you have reached 10,000 hours, you have arrived. And if you find any person who is great in a certain craft and you ask them, hey, at what age did you reach mastery, mister? They're going to look at you and be like, me? I'm not a master. I continue to master. And this is a completely different perspective than the 10,000 hour rule. These people are constantly adding in more and more reps. And here's why. I used to have this one public speaking coach who was dominating in 2000s. He is a brilliant public speaker. He was taking stage after stage all around the world. I believe he did a couple of speeches alongside Tony Robbins. And he was this brilliant public speaking coach to entrepreneurs. This was in 2000s. But in 2020, after coronavirus happened, what occurred was that a lot of the speeches that he used to do couldn't be done because there were lockdowns. He had to change his strategy. He still had to do public speaking, but he had to do it in a different way. Rather than doing it in front of a live audience, he now had to do it in front of a camera. And I don't know about you, but talking to a camera is pretty difficult. Because with an audience, you could tell if your joke popped off, if a certain audience member is bored. You're getting real-time feedback as it's happening. But in front of a camera, it's just staring at you. So this public speaking coach, who many would have said mastered the skill set of public speaking, is now finding himself to be a beginner in a completely different time frame. This is why I think the 10,000 hour rule, it is a great rule in terms of getting you active. But I think the better rule is the forever rule. The forever rule is that you choose one skill set that you aim to become great in. You are going to become legendary in this field. And by constantly seeking to become great in this skill set, you will notice yourself learning more about other fields. This public speaking coach wanted to become legendary in terms of public speaking, but he didn't only learn public speaking. He learned more about psychology, more about body language, more about persuasion, and much more. You learn one skill set and you dedicate your life to it forever, and you will learn many micro skill sets along the way. So I think the 10,000 hour rule is great for getting started, but I think it's much more strategic to adopt the forever rule. A master remains a lifelong student, and by remaining a lifelong student, a master is able to adjust, adapt, no matter what time period they are in. If you enjoyed today's talk and you want to learn more about mentality retraining, be sure to check out my book, Level Up Mentality, a guide to re-engineer your mindset for confidence. In this book, you will learn more about how to use discipline to your advantage, how to find the skill set that you want to master, how to master it forever, how to chronicle your journey to the top, plus plenty of other unique concepts. Check out the Level Up Mentality in the link in the description box, or go on ArmaniTalks.com and grab your copy today. Thank you very much for joining the Armani Talks podcast, and I'll catch you next time.